Hello, this is Bishop Doherty. In this particular episode, we're going to try and say a few things about the definition of papal infallibility. What does that mean? And are there grades of teaching in the church, or is everything top level must be believed? So let's wade into this. I'll warn you, though, at the beginning that anything that you're going to read on infallibility will tell you that you'll understand it after a 3-week course. So a 3-minute video may not be entirely satisfactory. Part of the discussion of papal infallibility really starts in 1870 when that dogma was proclaimed. And it was proclaimed on a very limited basis at a time where kingdoms and empires were fading. So the world was in great turmoil at the time that this doctrine was proclaimed in the Catholic Church. A few things about its definition. First of all, only God is really infallible. That is, in matters of faith and morals, only God is totally incapable of making an error. What we say in the church about papal infallibility is it exists in a kind of a narrow band on topics only of faith and morals. And if it's going to be infallible, the Pope has to say it's infallible. That is, he proclaims it ex cathedra, from the chair of Peter. Please know that infallibility is not a personal attribute of the Pope. In other words, he doesn't get elected because all the cardinals think he's infallible. No, he gets elected to exercise an office, and one of those qualities may from time to time, require an infallible statement, but they're very rare. There was a statement in 1950 about the Assumption of Mary, and people would argue that there have been a couple of statements since then that Catholics have to assent to in order to be in communion with the Church. Another mistake that people make is thinking that papal infallibility means that the Pope is sinless. That's not true. And the Pope himself would tell you that he's not sinless. So the definition of infallibility is a rather narrow one. I will make the distinction also that not everything the Pope says has equal authority. And that's an important thing for Catholics to know. Sometimes we get stereotyped that you have to believe everything the Pope says. So for instance, this Pope says what his favorite soccer team is. You don't have to believe that along with him. There's a thing called a papal encyclical, which is a pastoral letter written to people of goodwill. That has less authority than a dogmatic statement, but it's still a pretty good guide. Even though it has less authority, do we have to pay attention to it? Well, the Pope is an expert in matters spiritual, in matters that have to do with our salvation. So we shouldn't say we can just disregard it because this is not done with his full authority. It's like if you have a great heart doctor and that heart doctor tells you that you should do something for your own good, you wouldn't dare say to that person, well, you're not infallible, so I don't have to do it. So when you get people who have an expertise in their particular area, like the Pope has, it's a good thing to pay attention and to consider very seriously what his pronouncements mean in terms of our shared life of faith and our getting to know Christ better and living as an example of Christ in the world. So I hope some of this is helpful. Thank you, and God bless you.